Good day, viewers. We are welcome back to the 8th lecture of GSE 322, Basic General Mathematics for Colleges of Education 5. Today, we are going to discuss on the measure of dispersion group data. Because in our last lecture, the 7th lecture, we have discussed on the measure of dispersion and group data, where we have found the mean deviation, the range, and the range, variance, and the standard deviation of ungroup data. And here we are today to discuss on group data. Here on the board, we have a question that is saying the following table shows the frequency distribution of the score of 40 students in GSE 322 examination or exam. Find the range and the mean deviation of the distribution. So when looking at the table, we see that the table is a group data distribution because it has an interval here and it has a frequency. So now we are asked to find the range and the mean deviation of the distribution. So now the first of what we are asked to find is the range. And the range is simply the highest value or the highest interval minus the lowest interval of the distribution. In some studies, they will tell you the highest class boundary and the lower class boundary of the distribution shall be the range. So now, the range is very straightforward. Range implies the highest interval minus the lowest interval in the distribution, which implies that when we go back to the table, we see that we have the highest interval, which is 59, and the lowest is 10, which implies that 59 minus 10, which is equal to 59 minus 10 is going to give us 49. This is our range. Then the next one is mean deviation. Sorry, we have started the solution here because as time goes on, we are going to extend this table. There are so many things that we are going to write on the table. So now we have finished with the first one, the range. The next one is mean deviation. Look at it here. Mean deviation. So first of what we need to do, we have to drop the formula for mean deviation. Mean deviation, we should write it as MD, which implies that or equal to summation of f of absolute value of x minus x bar then over or divide by summation of f. Okay, now having written the formula, we have to describe the formula. This symbolizing the summation of f of absolute value of x minus x bar. So what is x minus x bar? X stands for the mid value. It means we have to find the mid value of each of the interval. Then minus, we know what minus means. Then X bar stands for the mean. It means we have to find the mean of the distribution before finding the mean deviation. On the process of finding the mean deviation, we must have to find the mean. Then absolute value. What does absolute value mean? Absolute value meaning that after subtracting the mean from each of the interval, we should consider just the result with no regard to the sign. Supposing after the subtraction, we have gotten -2. So by the virtue of this absolute value, we are going to forget about the minus and record just the 2. So this absolute value will take care or will go away with the negative sign. While this summation of f is the sum of the frequency. So now, on the table, we have frequency, but we don't have the x, the column for x, and we don't have the mean. So now, we should find the mean. The formula for finding the mean of group data is given by this x bar stands for the mean, equal to summation of fx over summation of f. Summation of f, that's the value of f of each row times the value of x of each row. As we keep saying, we don't have the x on the table, then we have to go and find it. The column for x, we don't have it, then we have to go and find it. How do we find the column for x? X stands for what is called a mid value. Mid value, that is x. What is mid value? What is mid value? How do we find the mid value? Now, pay attention. We find the mid value by adding the lower limit and the upper limit of the interval divided by 2. For example, here we have 10, 19. That's going to be 10 plus 19. We divide by 2. 10 plus 19 is going to give us 29. So now 29 divided by 2 is going to give us 14.5. So therefore, our mid value here, which is the same as x, is going to be what? 14.5. This is the mid value of the first row. Then the mid value of the second row is the same method. We add this 20 plus 29 and divide by 2. When we do that, it's going to give us 24.5. Then the third row is going to give us 34.5. Then the fourth row, when you add 40 and the 49 divided by 2, is going to give us 44.5. Then the last one, 50 plus 59 by 2, is going to give us 54.5. We have gotten our mid value. So now what next? You see, on our effort to find the mean, we have f on the table, which is the frequency, and now we have x. But we don't have fx. Therefore, we have to look for fx. What is fx? Fx, it means the value of f times the value of x of the first row. Then we go to the second row, the value of f times the value of x of the second row. So now, this one is simply 12 times 14.5, which is going to give us 174. When we multiply 12 times 14.5 is of course going to give us 174. Then the second one is 13 times, which is this one, 13 times 24.5. When we multiply 13 times 24.5 is going to give us 318.5. Then the second one, the third one, it means 15 times 34.5. And when we multiply 15 times 34.5 is going to give us 170. Sorry, here is 5. It's a mistake. Writing 15 here is a mistake. So the third one is 5 times 34.5, which is going to give us 172.5. When you multiply 5 times 34.5 is going to give us 172.5. Then the third one, or the fourth one, is 7 times 44.5, which is going to give us 311.5. Then the last one is 3 times 54.5, which is going to give us 163.5. Then we have gotten now our fx. So what do we do? This is fx. And the formula is saying summation of fx. It means the fx we have to sum of all the values. But whatsoever we have is whatsoever we have as the result is the answer. So we have summation of fx. When we sum all this, 174, 318.5, 172.5, 172.5, 311.5, 163.5. The summation of all this is going to give us 1,140. So we should come here, having gotten the total fx as the 1,140, then we should write it here, 1,140 divided by what is summation of f, which is 40 here. That's the summation of the frequency is 40. Then we should what? We should divide by 40, which is equal to what? When we divide 1140 by 40, that is going to give us 28.5. So now we have gotten our mean. So having gotten our mean, then we should find the deviation. What is the deviation? The deviation is x minus x bar. Then we should come to the table here, extend it, and have the column for absolute value of x minus x bar. How do we get x minus x bar? I told you initially we were not having x on the table and we found it. And we were not having x bar, which is the mean, and we found the mean here to be 28.5, the mean of the whole distribution to be 28.5. So now what next? This absolute value of x minus x bar is telling us that we should subtract the mean from the x of each row. Subtract the mean from the x of the first row. The result is the result of x minus x bar we have gotten. The result we have gotten is the absolute value of x minus x bar of the first row. Mind you, I told you with the coming of this absolute value, it means after the subtraction, even if we encounter a negative value, this absolute value will take away of the negative. We should record just the number. So now, in this case, the first one, our x is 14.5. So in the first one, let's write it here so that we see how to do it. The first one here, we have 14.5, which is our x. Then minus the x bar. The x bar, we always say that the x bar is our mean, minus 28.5. You see, this 28.5 is bigger and this 14.5 is smaller. It means when we subtract, we are going to have the minus, definitely, because this 28.5 is bigger. For example, this is like this, 28.5 minus 14.5. Therefore, we have, what is it, minus, then 5 minus 5, we have 0, then dot, 8 minus 4 is going to give us 4, then 2 minus 1 is going to give us 2 minus 1 is going to give us 1. But remember, this is bigger and this is smaller. Then we have to introduce minus, because the answer must definitely come with the minus. Therefore, 14.5 minus 28.5 is going to give us minus 14. So we should forget about this 0, because 0 behind decimal point is negligible. So, but they are in what? In absolute value. So this absolute value will take care of this minus. Then here we should record only 14, because the absolute value go away with the minus sign. Then the second one here is going to be the value of x in the second row, which is 24.5 minus the mean. Therefore, 24.5 minus the mean, which is 28.5. When we do that, when we subtract 28.5 from 24.5, we are going to get 4. Of course, the result is going to be negative 4, but because of the absolute value, we have 4, which is minus 4. But because of the negative, because of the absolute value, we should have 4. Then the third one is going to be what? 34.5 minus the mean, which is 28.5. This one, there is no minus, because 34.5 is bigger than 28.5. So we are not going to encounter minus. And when we do that, we are going to have 6. And we record our 6 here. Then the next one is 44.5 minus 28.5, which is the mean. And when we do that, we are going to get 16. Then we should what? We should write our 16 here. Then the last one is 54.5. Let's write it here. 54.5 minus the mean, which is 28.5. When we do that, we are going to get 26. So we have gotten our deviation. So we have now gotten our deviation. We have now gotten our deviation. We have gotten the what? The column for the deviation. So now, what next? So we have gotten the deviation. So now we are going to look for f times the value of f times the value of the mean deviation, of the deviation. Therefore, this is the column for that. Absolute value of x minus x bar. What does this mean? It means the value of f, that's the frequency, and the value of the deviation. We call this the deviation. The value of f, the frequency, and the value of x minus x bar. So we multiply them. That is 12 times 14. Simple. 12 times 14, which is like this. 12 times 14. First, we say that 4 times 2 is going to give us what? 4 times 2 is going to give us 8. This is not clear. We said the first one is 12 times 14. 4 times 2 is going to give us 8. 4 times 1 is going to give us 4. Then we move to the second one. 1 times 2 is going to give us 2. Then 1 times 1 is going to give us 1. Then we add 4, 8 plus nothing is going to give us 8. This 4 plus 2 is going to give us 6. Then nothing plus 1 is going to give us 1. This is 168. So our answer here is 168. The same thing we have done to find to multiply 12 times 14. Then you should do the rest to obtain the same thing. So the second one we have what do we have? 13 times 4. 13 times 4 is the same as this. 13 times 4. 4 times 3 is going to give us 12. Then we write what we write? We write 2 and we carry 1. 4 times 5, 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5, which is what? So the result is 52. That's 13 times 4 is going to give us 52. Then the third one, you are going to follow the same process, which is 5 times 6. This is very simple. 5 times 6 is going to give us 30. Then what next? The next one is 7 times 16. 7 times 16 is going to give us 112. Then what next? The next one is 3 times 26. 3 times 26 is going to give us 78. So you see, we have gotten the column for f times absolute value of x minus x bar, or you can say x times the deviation. So what next? Coming back to the formula, we have gotten this, but we don't have this. The sum of f of absolute value of x minus x bar, it means this column, we should sum them all together, which this is 8 plus 2, which is 10, plus 0 is 10 also, plus 2 is 12, plus 8 is 20. Then we write 0 and we carry 2. Then we come to the second column. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 3 is going to give us 14, plus 1 is 15, plus 7 is 22, plus 2 is 24. Then we write 4, we carry 2 as well. Then we have 1 plus 1, because we don't have any other numbers aligned. We have only 1 plus 1, which is 2, plus 2 we are carrying is 4. So the summation of this implies that summation of f of x minus x bar, which is 440. So now our mean deviation is equal to what? The summation of f absolute value of x minus x bar is what? 440. Divide by the number of this summation of f is the total frequency, which is 40, which is equal to what is the result when we divide 440 by 40. That is going to give us 11. So 11 is our mean deviation. So with this, we have come to the end of today's lecture, because we are asked to find the range and the mean deviation of the distribution, and we have found the range as 49 and the mean deviation as 11. This mean, as I told you, is on the effort to find mean deviation, then you must find the mean of the distribution. So thank you so much for watching. Please ask question on the comment section. Correct us also where we are wrong on the comment section. Like and share to other colleges of education, as well as subscribing to our channels, so that anytime we upload new lecture, you will be notified. Thank you so much for watching. Until we meet in the next class.